Hey loves, it's your girl MariahSincere, and I am back with another bomb live. For those of y'all who are new to my channel, I'm an American living abroad. I left the United States in 2024, and I only went back to visit once. So right now I'm in Colombia. Next month I'll be in the Dominican Republic. I've spent a total of 2 years in Colombia. So if you are interested in relocating to Colombia, I actually am hosting a live relocation workshop Saturday, June 13th. The link is in the bio. So if you are interested in that, I got you. As a matter of fact, I want to show y'all a testimonial of somebody who attended my relocation workshop, because a lot of people, they will host these workshops or tell you about a country and they're not even giving you any value. When I tell you I am bringing the value, I'm bringing the value. So I'm going to show this video. A client of mine, he likes my workshop so much, he did a video testimony. So I'm going to show y'all. I'll probably play this again in the middle of the live stream, but I'm just so proud of the work that my friend and I, Deandra, she's a Colombian American and a licensed therapist. So I had her as a guest host, and she will be hosting the next relocation workshop, because she is going to teach y'all how to socially and emotionally integrate into Colombia in a real way. Not on this lame-ish that some of these people like the homie hubs do. No, how to realistically integrate into Colombian society so that you can start a family or get a wife, get your little girlfriend, stay here long term. But I am going to play this testimonial. Let me turn up my sound. Here we go. Signing up for my Colombia relocation workshop is a must if you want to plan your escape from the United States. Don't take it from me. Listen to David.
Hi everyone, this is David from Blue Book Sponsored, and I recently attended a Colombian relocation seminar hosted by MariahSincere, and I just wanted to do a quick video because this is something I definitely recommend. It's one of those situations where it was under-promised and over-delivered.
Y'all hear that? Under-promised and under-delivered.
By far. So whether you are well off into the process or this is something that you're just thinking about, trying to gather information, for either one of those people or somewhere in between, I definitely recommend this for anybody looking to possibly relocate to Colombia.
Well, there you have it. The proof is in the pudding, baby. I will be hosting another live workshop Saturday, June 13th. We are going to talk about visas, how you can do a long-term stay, healthcare, how to rent an apartment, cost of living, and we are going to give you all the resources that you need to socially and emotionally integrate into Colombian society. You're not going to want to miss this. Text relocate in the comments to sign up. Okay, guys, so there you have it. That was a real testimonial for one of my clients that attended the Colombia Live Relocation Workshop. We're going to talk about it. So, yeah, if you are looking to relocate to Colombia, then come to the workshop. It is Saturday, June 13th. I also do one-on-one consultations for those of y'all who need very specific help with through your relocation process. Now, with that said, what's up, Ellis Durrell? He said, why would Indonesia do this? We're going to talk about this, guys. So Indonesia just basically passed a law saying that content creators cannot come into their country and create content without the proper visa. So basically, they can't come on a tourist visa and do it. They have to get a remote worker, like a digital nomad visa. But the problem with this, y'all, is honestly and truly, when people, like how you even get into content creation, how a lot of people do this, especially in the travel space, they have to stop working and go travel to make the content, right? So what a lot of people do is they go live off of savings and then they begin their travel content journey, you know, kind of like what Austin Holloman did. But if they run out of money, they have to go home, you know. So it's one of those things where you either have to sink or swim. And most people that have a job and do content creation, that's very difficult. Like I do that. I have a job and I do content creation, and I don't feel like I'm on vacation. Your girl be out here working. Okay. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, work my job. I'm done by like 10, but then I'm going and shooting and doing content today. I had a video shoot today. And my point is, this is gonna hurt the people who are trying to break into the travel content business more so than the people who are already in it. Because what happens with these visas is that you have to prove that you're making a certain amount of money off of your remote job. So if you're claiming that content is your remote job, then you have to be able to prove that you're making a sufficient amount of money off of that content. So you're not going to have the opportunity to like live off savings and then build the content, which is crazy. What's up? Do they not want tourists? I mean, what it is, you know what it is too? It's like a lot of people are, let's be so for real. First of all, people be hating. I ain't gonna hold you. People be hating. Like when I go look, I made a post about this. I took it down because there was something I need to fix. I put Bali bans content creators and not content creators. Stupid, right? But somebody was under the comments like, oh, good. They need to ban their lazy asses. And people just assume that here's the thing about content creation. People see a finished product, right? So for example, I might post three-minute videos a day on my Instagram page. That's only 9 minutes worth of content. But what people don't understand is the video is 3 minutes. I might have shot the take. I might have spent 10 to sometimes even 30 minutes shooting the take and fleshing out the ideas. Then on top of that, to go and edit, I might spend anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to edit those videos, right? And it's a lot. Like for every one video I post, I spent at least 45 minutes to an hour working on that, you know, on Instagram. So that's like 3 hours worth of work. And that's not including me coming on here and doing a live stream for like 1 to 2, sometimes even 3 or 4 hours. I'll do a live stream and then I have to cut the live stream up and edit that and post those videos and make thumbnails and put and I do this all while I have a job and I have a kid to take care of. I have to cook and clean, you know. So people think it looks easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody could do it and everybody would be consistent. Hey, Mariah, so you eat late. Oh, as well, just like our Colombian aunt. Anyway, I had to eat late because I've been working all day. I had a video shoot to do for Airbnb. Look, okay, y'all. So this and the next few episodes that I have are going to be fundraiser episodes. I will debate Homie's Hub because I'm not scared of him. He's delusional. It's either he's delusional or he's trying to goad me into a situation, which is fine. He's going to get washed. He's like, he doesn't mind getting embarrassed for a check. That's fine. But here's the thing. I need money up front before I go sit and look at him. I'm going to be able to smell that funky breath from that low hanging bottom lip through the screen. So this is a fundraiser. If y'all really want to see an epic debate and y'all want to put a show on, then this is a fundraiser. I will do if I get $400 worth of cash apps, everybody contribute, then I will debate him. And he's like, oh, well, you're going to get the cash apps while you're on the debate. No, baby, to debate you, I need my money up front, okay? I need it up front. So if y'all want to see that, hit the cash app. I will let y'all know daily where we're at with that until we get to 4. When we get to 400, y'all will see me debate him. And he can be on his channel. He don't have to come on my platform, but he can do his live stream and come on here. And that is going to be what it is. Okay, so before we get to the situation, we're not going to debate. We're not going to debate in the same room face to face. We're going to debate here on YouTube. We're going to debate here on YouTube. Now I'm not gonna and guess what? I won't drop him off the live stream. I will let him come on here and say what he want to say. Because anything he think he gonna say about me, I can give it 10 times back. He keep on talking about he gonna expose me. How you gonna expose me, sir? For what? I already put all my business out there. He gets on his channel. Oh, she used to be a stripper. Yeah, I've talked about that several times on my own channel. I talk about it on TikTok. I've talked about it on here for years now, at least 2 years now. So like, what is there to expose? Yes, I was. Yes, and I went on to be a teacher after that. How about that? But because it's just some odors is just funky. You gonna smell it. You gonna smell it from a distance. What is he gonna? I also came on here years ago, and I went on Intuition's channel and talked about how I dated a black man that has property in Cartagena. So what is he talking about? He's like, oh yeah, she's not gonna talk about that passport bro she dated in Cartagena. I've been told y'all I date black men and that I dated a black man in Cartagena. So what are y'all? What's the problem? What are you gonna expose me from? For not being a lame ass female? Are you mad because I can pull something and you can't? What are you talking about? You mad because I was fine and making money from being fine? So it's not a secret. It's never been a secret. So what are you gonna expose? I'm really interested to know. You can't expose me when I already put the information out there. Nobody ever came out and put nothing out on me. Nobody ever came on here and told none of my business. I told my business. And that's what I'm saying. Lame dudes being lame. Lame, like the lame dudes trying to step into the territory of a real one, not even understanding that you have no ammunition to use against me, sir. Anyway, so y'all hit the like button. So if y'all want to see me debate Homie's Hub, then contribute to the fundraiser, and I will do it. I will put on the show for y'all, and I will let him come on here and say whatever he want to say. Cause guess what? I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want to say. Better believe that he not ready for this. Okay. Anyway, let's go to Austin Holloman's channel. Y'all, Austin Holloman put out a really good video today, like a reaction video. So this is gonna be a reaction video to a reaction video. I know, ghetto, but I really like this content that he posted today about like basically the world not really rocking with black people like that or being attracted to black people like that. And I think it was an interesting perspective. So we're gonna watch it together, and y'all are gonna tell me like if y'all agree with it or not. And mind you, I'm not trying to offend anybody. This is just me reacting. These are not necessarily my opinion. So for those of y'all who don't know, Austin Holloman has been in Africa for most of the time, like these past couple of years, right? Let me share this screen. So the title of this video is called Black Women Are the Only Option for Black Men. Now, some of y'all may or may not agree, but Austin Holloman, ever since he traveled the world, he went to Africa, he's done Asia, he's done Latin America, he's come here to Medellin, Colombia, he's been all over South America, and he has been trying to convince black men that their best bet, the best situation that they're going to be in terms of dating is to date a black woman. And she doesn't necessarily have to be a black American woman, but an African woman, something like that. And I'm always surprised that places like Ethiopia and Kenya and Tanzania are not destinations for a lot of the fellas that travel that y'all really want to go to, because those women over there are beautiful. Like, they're gorgeous. They are. Let me tell y'all something. My daughter is half Ethiopian, and child, I'm already scared. I know I'm gonna have to fight the boys off. This little girl is gorgeous, and yeah, she got some from me, but definitely that other side helped her. Okay. So like, I'm always interested as to why the fellas aren't flocking over there like they are to Colombia. Maybe it's the whole pay for play situation. Maybe it's because that's not as common over there or it's not as abundantly available. But I do also think it like the fetishization of light skinned Latinas plays a role in it. Y'all not gonna admit it, but I think it does, and I'm not shaming you for that. I'm just pointing out an observation. Elham says a lot of content creators are attracting the wrong type of tourists. Some of them should be banned. Yeah, are you talking about the homies hub? Definitely be attracting the wrong type of attention. Okay. Mariah, you're not being fair by putting this $400 block in place. You're preventing the travel community from seeing what they want to see. I'm not preventing. If they want to see it, they're gonna make it happen. They're gonna make it happen. And you will grow gang subscribers because of this debate. I understand, but if people really want to see it, they will make it happen. If they don't want to see it, they're not gonna make it happen. I'm just keeping it real because y'all have to understand this from a woman's point of view. I'm gonna have to sit on a live with him. I don't want to look at him. I'm just being honest. And then I'm gonna have to talk to somebody that is extremely unintelligent and is probably going to be saying very vile, disrespectful, sexual things to me, or be speaking in a sexually explicit manner. And the reason why I said that is because he's already done that in his videos several times. So if I'm going to be exposed to that, then I need some compensation on the front end. I'm just being honest. I will roast him I will cook his ass for y'all. But it has to be worth my time. Okay. That's not true. So before the Homies Hub came on my channel, before the Homies Hub ever talked about me, I had about 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Right now I'm at 2,400. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I wasn't even getting on YouTube like that. Then I got back on YouTube. So yeah, some of my subscribers found me from the Homies Hub. That's not a lot or even a majority. It's not a lot or even a majority. Majority of my followers were males before the Homies Hub even came into the picture, because I was talking about politics and I just stopped because YouTube stopped promoting my channel. Now they back promoting my channel because I'm talking about travel. But like the Homies Hub didn't get me to where, you know what I'm saying? It didn't get me to where I am. Thank you, Mr. Kinderbright 21. What's up? Good to see you. I know you're not trying to be rude, Travel Over, but I'm just explaining the real situation. And if he's been over there saying that, that's not true. I've been on YouTube for a hot little minute right now. It's just my whole thing is I be in and I be out. I be in and I be out. And now I'm trying to stay all the way in. But like I've been on here working. Okay, so let's go to Austin Holloman's channel. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. The video is titled "Black Women Are the Only Option for Black Men."
Sexual matters are typically kept private. There is a strong emphasis on modesty, social order, and the procreative.
Yes, sexual matters are kept private in Africa too. Like, yeah, he must be talking about Black Americans because Africans don't fit none of the stuff he's talking about.
Purpose of sex, nudity, and revealing clothing are largely viewed as taboo. In contrast, these are not qualities that Black Africans or Black Westerners possess. Black Africans and Black Americans, Black British, Black Canadians, Black Brazilians, and all the Blacks are generally promiscuous, dressing in revealing.
Wow, so this man said that basically all Black people around the world are promiscuous. And we dress promiscuously. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that's true? I think there are I'll say this. I guess if you were to look at Black American culture and listen to the music that's being promoted and the images that are being promoted on TV, then yeah, like if you were to compare that to like Chinese culture or something like that, we are far more revealing and promiscuous and the lyrics are downright raunchy. But I will say this, and yes, I know there are Black Latinos. I'll say Latino culture way more promiscuous and raunchy, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Okay, some of the lyrics to these songs, they just as I'm just saying, we ain't the only ones.
Outfit and
Promiscuous, yes. Revealing outfits, not so much in Africa.
are loud and boisterous. This doesn't fit in the Confucian tradition of East Asia. However, it must be asked, white people don't necessarily tick the Confucian box. So why are they open to dating white people but not blacks? Easy, their skin is pale and their countries were role models for East Asian countries. East Asians admire.
So but he's asking, why are East Asians or Asians in general open to dating white people, but they're not open to dating Black people? And I think that's an interesting question to ask, because like a lot of these men will tell you that like their preferred, Black men just in general will tell you that they are preferred all around the world, that they're the preference of every single woman. And though certainly Black men are an option or a preference for a lot of women, I would not necessarily say Black men are preferred above all else in every single country. Y'all, that's not realistic. That's not realistic for like any group of people. Like I wouldn't even say that, as me being a African American woman, I wouldn't say, oh, we are the preferred group all around the world. Or people are allowed to have their likes and dislikes. And what I will say is, from what I've seen and what I have witnessed, Asian people do tend to prefer to date white people when they do date out. That's not saying that you can't go find you a bad Asian woman. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's not possible for you if that's what you like. What I'm saying is you're not going to be the preference, or you're going to have to deal with a lot of pushback from their family and society. And that's just the reality of the matter. Hey, what's up, Jamal? We're pretty promiscuous, to be honest, and we're very proud of it. Yeah, we are proud of being promiscuous. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button. And I thank y'all for any and all support. But y'all definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed.
White people since they were poor and continue to view them positively today. So with white, they are willing to break all the boundaries. It's a fact. Black is associated with being poor, and Africans haven't helped the Black cause one bit anyway. Instead, Africa has made it even harder for every Black Westerner to overcome the stigma when they
Which all that goes back to colonialism.
travel outside the West into Asia and East Asian territories, as they share the same skin color. For centuries, Black skin has often been associated with African poverty, underdevelopment, tribal life, and a lack of intelligence. As a result, the world has formed a perception of Black people.
This is why I am so hard. Like the men get upset when I'm like, hey, especially the Black men, I never told y'all don't participate in pay for play. Do what you want to do. But you have to understand that globally, Black people have a stigma. We have a stigma on us. So when y'all support these men that get online and they're showing a lack of discipline, is what it is. Because nobody, I don't care, even though I tell you do what you want to do, and I certainly think you should be able to do what you want to do. And, it shouldn't be, as long as the woman is consenting, that's fine. You do have to understand that people don't have to find what you do respectable. You understand? And then a lot of y'all will be like, well, they should make it illegal for the girls. Here's the thing. You can only control what you can control. You can only control and care about you and your image and your likeness. So when I say, hey, why do y'all have to blast that on the internet like that? Why do y'all have to be putting the girls on the camera and doing the creep cam? Why can't y'all just go and chill out, act like you've been there before, do your business in secret, and then go home? People want to get upset. But then at the same time, people want to get upset about the natural consequences that come. For example, if you go into the line in Cartagena and Medellin, you just see groups, especially in Cartagena, but it's getting bad in Medellin, just groups of Black men, and everybody knows what they're coming there for. Everybody knows what they're coming there for. And it's like, do you expect people to respect you or think highly of you? And then some might say, well, we don't care because other men do it. You're supposed to care about you. All that other people do it, you're supposed to care about you and your reputation. And when your reputation is already in the gutter, and it might not even be of no fault of your own, you might not never participate in any foolishness to have deserved it. You have to work that much harder to keep people up off of your back. And that's just the reality that a lot of people don't want to accept.
That extends beyond physical appearance, but is influenced by the culture and etiquette of Black Africans. This perception has, in many cases, negatively impacted the attractiveness of Black people, both in Africa and among African Americans. People in East Asia or Asian continent are slowly getting to know Black people. They historically viewed dark skin as representing the lower class, while white skin or pale skin has been associated with the upper class. Unfortunately, Black people happen to naturally have the same skin color that fits the definition of ugliness to Asians. For Koreans and Japanese,
I said this
the issue
before.
may
A
not
lot of
stem
y'all
from
try to say like it's colonialism that caused people to think this way, but I've long been said that I believe that colorism existed before white men got involved in the slave trade. Because you have to think about this. White men were the last to get in on the slave trade, the African slave trade. Africans was doing it first. Then the Arabs were doing it. Some of the Asian countries participated in it. So Africa, way before the white man was even a factor in the situation, has long been seen as a place where people can come pillage for human labor, where people were seen as subhuman. And I really just don't think the white man's influence is just that strong to where all these other countries, like the Japanese, were never colonized by white men. Matter of fact, the Japanese were colonizers. A lot of y'all didn't know that. All them islands in Japan, they had indigenous people. The Japanese came and colonized that. So you go to a lot of these places, they have anti-Black sentiments, even within their own culture. They don't like darker Asians. Like a lot of East Asians, lighter East Asians don't like the Cambodians or the Vietnamese or the people that are in Laos. I don't know what it is. I don't know why humans gravitate towards that line of thinking that Black is associated with filth and poverty or just something to be unwanted. But the reality of the matter is a lot of people do think like that. So when you know they think like that, you have to do your best to not fall into those stereotypes. And that's why I say sometimes it's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. And like this man was saying, this new wave of travel after the pandemic, this is a lot of people's first time exposure to African Americans. A lot of people never before 2020, never even seen an African American in their village. So it's like we had the opportunity to show them, hey, a lot of the things that you see on TV are not true. We had the opportunity to not fall into stereotypes. And like some are representing well, but unfortunately, it's a lot of people. And I say they're the minority, but it's like the minority is making us look bad. And then when you try to say something about it or say something to them, then all of a sudden you don't like Black people, or you trying to stop them from having fun, or you self-hating, or Uncle Tom. When it's like, no, we are supposed to be the gatekeepers and the representation of our image. And you can't get mad when you're showing people negative things about you, and then they put you in a category. I said this before, even with the passport bros. I was talking to my friend, shout out to Kari HQ. He does travel content. He's been here in Colombia for 6 years. That's my homeboy. So I was talking to Kari, who was out at lunch, and I was telling him how for a lot of Colombian women, Black men actually really did have the opportunity to come to Colombia and be the preference. Let me tell you why. I've said this before. The dating culture in Colombia is toxic, and Colombian men can treat, even though they're nice when you're out and about, some of the ways they treat the women can be very toxic. And I do believe just overall, American men are open-minded and a little bit more egalitarian, just American men in general, right? So it's like Black American men had the opportunity, if they were saying, hey, our women weren't treating us right back then, or maybe our women didn't want us in the United States. And, we're supposed to be the good guys. So we're going to pack our stuff and show them that we're leaving, and they'll regret it when we go find other women. Cool. Guess what? You had the opportunity to come to Colombia and actually show them something different than what they're used to in terms of being a good man. If Black men would have came down here and the majority were actually finding wives and treating these women good and putting them up and being respectful husbands, like that would have actually been getting your lift back. Because guess what? Then women would have actually felt like they took a loss. But when you have so many men coming down here making content like the Homies Hub does, and like degrading the women and showing all this stuff, it makes American women be like, okay, well, y'all want fit, feminine, friendly. Y'all say y'all want all these things, and you're saying the women down there are that. Why are y'all still treating them like that? Why aren't the majority of y'all getting married and settling down, since men are the gatekeepers of marriage, right? That's what y'all say. So it's like American women look at that and be like, well, we didn't really take no loss. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them, because it's illogical in one breath to try to tell a woman that she's taking a loss, but then come down here and completely dog the women worse than you would be doing the women in the United States. They don't work like that. You have to really come down here and show and prove yourself. And a lot of y'all not gonna like what I'm saying, but I mean, for real, you right, sis. These dudes be so thirsty. What's up, Rob 1608? By the way, I got a little change to do something strange. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, y'all. If y'all want to see me debate Homies Hub, here is my Cash App. I will do it. We will debate. I will let him say whatever he want to say, and he can have his live stream on his channel, and I won't put him off of my live stream. But I ain't doing it for free. So if I have a mark. If we can get to $400 within a certain amount of time, I'm gonna give y'all time. Then I will debate Homies Hub, and I will fry his ass. Thank you. Get over here 95. Thank you for the $5 Cash App. Japanese colonized parts of China, Korea. They was ruthless. Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Myanmar. Yet they was not playing. Didn't no white person come over there and tell them to think Black was bad. They've been thinking that. They've been thinking they was superior. And that's nothing against Japanese people. I'm just keeping it real. That used to be their culture. Not so much anymore, but that's the reality. We can't blame white folks for everything.
Or outright racism, but rather a lack of attraction, which is a subjective matter. People are entitled to their preferences, and there is nothing inherently wrong with that. Conversely, white people are different. They are naturally adventurous and open-minded. This is why most Black people who date outside their race date white people. Interracial marriages are relatively common in Europe and North America, but remain quite rare in many parts of East Asia. Interracial marriages.
That's a great point. So he's saying like white people are more open-minded when it comes to dating Black people. And I find that to be the case overall. Yes, you are going to have some white people that like are racist or they don't want their family dating Black people. And a lot of the times, so I find it in these days, it's not just because of the skin color. It's not because white Americans, when they don't want their family members dating a Black person, I find that these days it don't got much to do with whether or not they find Black skin to be attractive or not, and more so to do with a lot of the cultural differences. For example, y'all can't be mad when we have such a high single motherhood rate in the Black community, and a white man tells his daughter, I don't want you dating a Black man, because odds are you're going to end up a single mother. Now, we here in this YouTube space, in the manosphere, even amongst Black people, Black men, y'all make it seem like being a single mother is the worst thing to be. So when a father looks and sees that the men that his daughter is dating is dating in a pool where majority of the women are going to be single mothers, you can't be mad at him if he has some reservations about that. Or he says, I don't necessarily want that for my child, because we believe in getting married over here. Same thing with Hispanic men and their daughters. Y'all can't get upset. But I think with white people, it has more to do with cultural difference today in 2026 than them actually thinking we're unattractive. Because a lot of white women do find Black men to be attractive. A lot of white men, when they go date a Black woman, they go get them a Lupita. They don't go get a biracial like me. They don't want nothing in the middle. They say, if I'm gonna go get a Black woman, I'm gonna go get something homegrown, authentic. That be their mentality.
Between white and Black people have a higher rate of divorce compared to marriages among white couples. Additionally, most relationships between Black and non-Black people do not result in marriage. On average, a 20-year-old African woman has had 8 sexual partners, while an Asian woman of the same age has had about 3. The tendency
That's very true.
to
Y'all hear that? It's saying in Asian cultures that women have had about 3 sexual partners, and the average African woman has had about 8. A lot of that has to do with the fact that sex is heavily promoted in our culture, especially in African American culture. Y'all got to think about it. When I was in middle school, when I was in Dallas, this was during the Dallas boogie area. The Dallas boogie era, all we heard was Busted Wide Open. These are the songs we were listening to at all the parties, all the little teen parties we went to. This was the music that the rappers were making, and this is what we're listening to. Now, if you are a woman or you're a young girl and you are not gay and you like boys, you want to do what the boys think the boys like. So if the grown men that both the young men and the young women are looking up to are promoting promiscuity, and the women are hearing, the little girls are hearing from the men, oh, y'all need to be sexy, you need to basically be cooperative, have sex with me, be the biggest freak, then guess what? Women, especially young girls, are going to internalize that. And then when the men are hearing that that's what they need to do to be a man, they need to have all these different women and sexual partners, then that's what they're going to do. So that was pushed into our culture, and now it's being perpetuated, though more so in these days, the women are the face of it. But let's be clear, it was like that when we were coming up. So it's like, can you blame a whole generation or two of people who have had more than a few sex partners when that's literally what they were trying to do? Versus they don't have all that sexual messaging in a lot of these Asian cultures. A lot of that stuff is banned on TVs. And then on top of that, their families are together. So the women have to think about, if I do X, Y, Z, it's going to bring shame onto my family. Whereas in the United States, we have more of an individualistic culture where you more so are worried about your own reputation or your own happiness or what you're going to do over your family. Because really, for the most part, for example, in the United States, you could go unalive somebody in cold-blooded, you could do it cold-bloodedly, and people are not going to blame your family. They're not, unless your family just did something really crazy to mess you up in the head. Your family member is still going to be able to go get a job, and if they're a good person, they'll be seen as a respectable person in society. It doesn't work like that in a lot of these Asian cultures. When you do something bad, then people see that as bringing dishonor and shame on your whole family. They looking at your mama and daddy like, look at what you raised. And it can affect your entire social standing. Korean dramas don't even show kissing. Homie's hub is an ignorant person who likes conflict. I'm here to give it to him. I'll give it to him. Hey, what up? What up, Kim? How are you? I sent you a message earlier. I'm gonna have to get with you later on. Well, not later on tonight, but tomorrow.
Promiscuity appears to be higher among black people, whether they are American, African, European, or South American, compared to East Asians, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, or Arabs. Many non-black who date black do so out of a fetishized perception that black women are more accessible for casual sex based on societal stereotypes. Ultimately, this situation is not solely rooted in racism.
That's so confusing for me. And y'all tell me, if you have ever, I know my daughter didn't take my coffee. If you have ever dated both like white women and black women, who do you, and be honest, who do you think is more promiscuous? Meaning like, who do you think is willing to sleep with you faster? Who is willing to be the most freaky or be the most experimental in the bedroom? Because when I was growing up, if you like went down south on a dude, that was gonna, and people found out you did that, they were gonna talk bad about you. And this was like in the 2000s. Like, I never really just seen black women as freaky as a lot of other groups of women, honestly and truly. For example, I don't know if y'all remember that little girl. This is when I was in high school. A video, this is when people first started doing video recordings on their phone. And there was a girl named Amber Cole, and she was in middle school, and she was going down south on a boy, and his friends were standing behind her recording. And like, they blasted that girl. I remember B King did a song, and she was wearing Skechers, so they kept on talking about how she was giving top wearing Skechers. Black people make fun of Skechers, especially at that time. And it was like, now that kind of stuff is normal. I used to work in a high school. These type of videos circulate throughout the school like it's nothing. And people talk about the girl for a few days or two, and then they go on and then it's another video. But like back then, that was a really big deal. And it was a really big deal because like to young black kids, there was some super freak stuff to be given like top. It's like, girl, you nasty, So like when people say that black women are the most promiscuous, I'm always confused because these, like, for example, it's a lot of white girls that we went to school with that would let the football players go in the back door, but not the front door because she was trying to stay a virgin. That ain't something black girls was doing now. That's freaky. That kind of stuff didn't become normal in the black community until Janae Aiko made that song talk about he gotta eat the like groceries. And then all of a sudden, everybody just got nasty in a matter of years because she said that out loud. I'm going to address this comment that I saw. Guys, please, if you're just now coming in, hit the like, share. Y'all know I'm trying to grow. I appreciate all the support. Hey, Ray, what's up? Did I read that comment? He said, homies. Okay, I read that. I didn't realize that was you, Ray. What's up? Romeo Guerrero says, the biggest problem is the girls growing up in a fatherless home. You don't think the men growing up in a fatherless home is the problem too? Because when your daddy ain't around, you don't know how to stick around. And let's be so for real. The men don't want to talk about this when y'all talk about women and the problem with fatherless homes, but y'all experience the consequences of that too. Why? See, here's something to say something that's going to make a lot of y'all mad. Y'all might hop off. But y'all don't want to talk about the promiscuity that comes from that. Because guess what? Now your mom got a stepdad or have all these men running in and out. Guess who's touching you at night too? Now you super freaked out. Questioning your sexuality. I'm not saying all men that didn't have that, but a lot of y'all not gonna say it. Y'all not gonna talk about it. Y'all not gonna never tell anybody. But a lot of the stuff that y'all hate women for, or a lot of the promiscuity that y'all shame women for because they didn't have a dad in their house, y'all promiscuous and freaked out too because men was touching you, or you might have had some step siblings coming into your household, touching you. And then now you got identity issues. You mad at your mom because your dad wasn't around. Now you hate women. You don't know how to navigate this world because you don't know what manhood looks like. And I'm not talking about you specifically, Romeo, but it's like when men have these conversations about fatherlessness, y'all act like these same women don't have brothers that was in the house. A lot of these same men that come on here talking about fatherlessness don't have a daddy that really rocked with them either like that. Or he might have been in the home, but he wasn't present. He didn't really fool with you. He wasn't coming in none of your games. He wasn't showing you no love and support. He was just there so he could split bills with your mama to maintain. A lot of y'all don't want to talk about that. Also, men going down south on women was also frowned upon. That's true. Upon was the male equivalent of the Skechers girl, possibly even worse. But these street ninjas who don't really like women, because her mama was held accountable. Today, these little badasses don't have nobody claiming them. Well, that's true. They don't. My stepdad was a Sunni Muslim born in Philly, same as I could never be you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking to, I wasn't directing that to you. But here's the thing. This is not a live stream about you. This is just true. This is true. A lot of these men that had stepdaddies or all these uncle daddies coming in and out of the house because their father, for whatever reason, was not present, whether he chose not to be or he wasn't unalive or he went to jail. A lot of the same reasons why young African American women are promiscuous are the same reasons why young Black men can't stay with one woman and are promiscuous. Okay, Ace Metaphor comes to mind. I don't know if y'all know who that is. He's the guy that runs tonight's conversation. And y'all remember when Keita Rose put him on blast because he's supposed to be in a relationship and he gives all this great relationship advice to women. It's really pandering. But she put him on blast because he was using his events to run through and sleep with all these women. Keita said he would hit a woman in a wheelchair. That's how thirsty he was. He ain't care. Everybody can get it, the disabled. But guess what? Then it came out when he was a teenager, he was getting touched by a grown man, and the grown man was taking him on trips, taking him shopping, buying him stuff. Where was his father at? This is a lot of these men's stories, and they would never tell y'all. They would never tell y'all. Instead, they're going to defer to, it's in my nature to be this way. But they're not going to tell y'all some of the stuff they experienced in private.
But rather in cultural representation.
No, he's very true. I remember I read an excerpt about I forgot who it was, but it was a European when they were colonizing Africa, and they talked about how the indigenous African women were promiscuous compared to European women. That doesn't mean European women are not promiscuous. Being in Africa, yeah, it's very, very that is very true. So being in Asia,
no, that's true. Even in Africa, one reason why they decided to bring Christianity to Africa. And here's the thing, a lot of people keep trying to push this back onto us. This whole having all these wives and all this. If you want to do that, that's your business. But at the end of the day, I judge whether or not something is positive by the fruit it bears, right? So if it's a good thing for people to be having multiple sexual partners, then why does it cause so much death and destruction in terms of these STDs? Why doesn't good fruit come from it? Why does it come from, even in think of somebody like Nick Cannon. Yeah, he said, oh, I see my kids. Them kids gonna grow up and tell the same story all these other kids tell who had a father that had split homes, about how their dad couldn't be around for everything. They barely saw their father. Their dad wasn't able to teach them the lessons that they need to learn. This all their stories. When the Mormons tried to do it, they cut that out, because they were realizing this has negative impacts on society. But yeah, I remember reading a book. I forgot the name of the book. And one thing they were saying was that They were like appalled when they came here, and you had all these men with multiple women, the sexual partners, and all this kind of stuff. And again, do what you want to do. I'm not here to be the morality police. I can't tell you what to do. But I'm always going to judge whether or something is good by its fruit. And you're not going to convince me that that's the way we should be heading, that society should go in if it bears no good fruit. At that point, just keep it all the way above, keep it 1,000 and say you just want to do it because you lustful. Because nothing productive actually comes from it. I'm just being honest.
There, especially if you go to places like Vietnam, like Thailand is just Thailand. Like the whole stuff that y'all experience as tourists there in Thailand, that's just Thailand. If you go to other parts of Southeast Asia, like that promiscuity is nowhere near as what it is in Thailand. Like if you go to Vietnam, like the chances of you dating a Vietnamese chick are fucking slim.
That have not effectively showcased.
I also wonder, this finna sound wrong what I'm finna say, but I also wonder if they're less promiscuous in these countries. Okay, hear me out. I ain't trying to be nasty, and I'm not trying to stereotype anybody, but I personally believe that I see a correlation. Countries where the men are less endowed, y'all know what I mean? Where that thing is not thinging, it seems like culturally they seem to be less promiscuous than countries where the men are a little bit blessed. Y'all get what I'm saying? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting there? Like in countries where the man is working with this, they tend to be less promiscuous than in countries where the men might be average size to on the bigger end. Y'all understand? I'm seeing a correlation there. I'm seeing a correlation. The women seem to be more freakier. The men be wanting to hunt. You know, I'm seeing a correlation. I'm just saying.
Their strengths or themselves to the world properly. There is a pervasive image of black culture as poor, uneducated, loud, dirty, aggressive, and lacking emotional intelligence and
Asians should be the last people to call somebody dirty. India, the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, or that is some of the most
I be asking why I went to Asia yet. Honestly and truly, I'm trying to mentally prepare for seeing people sneezing everywhere and not covering their nose or their mouth, and the nose picking. The nose picking. I don't care if people say what I'm saying is wrong. Anybody that done ever been to Asia or you've been around a whole bunch of, you already know they be going in. My Chinese students be going in on the camera. I be having to like minimize their picture because they just will go to work. Some of them will go to work the whole class while I'm trying to teach. Are they less promiscuous or are they more discreet? That's a good question. That's a good question. Could be.
sanitary parts of the world.
ambition. These qualities can undermine the foundations of relationships and marriages.
So what made you build an app?
I'm Bigfoot. Got tired of being a myth, so I built an app for men who scream into rivers after cold plunges.
Many women are deterred by men who appear to lack these attributes. Even among white women, those over 35 are less likely to date black men compared to those under 25. Examining the dynamics of attraction from the perspective of black Africans reveals concerning trends. A white man in Africa is living in heaven. Black African women often show a
I think I'm going to tell y'all what it is. I don't think that it's that white women over 35 are less likely to date black men because they're not attracted to them. That's not the problem. It's that once you get a certain age, you get older and wiser, right? So then you're looking at the pool and you're like, it's slim pickings for the good ones. So, I mean, yeah, they probably less likely because, again, younger white women, they want to explore, they want to be rebellious, they want to move on impulse. But older white women, by the time they get to a certain age, they're up on game, so they're more selective on who they deal with. Hell, they probably, even within their own race, they probably become more selective. Thank you, Archie. Scorpio energy in the building. What in the mess is going on over here this late? I'm on Austin's channel, and this guy is talking about why he's giving his synopsis on why a lot of other races and cultures don't want to date Black people. And Austin's argument is that Black women are the best option for Black men. And I'm not like I don't care who y'all date. So this is not me trying to appeal to y'all and tell y'all that y'all need to go date Black women. I'm just giving my opinion on the entire dialogue. But honestly and truly, I really don't care. Date who you want to date, because I be dating who I want to date. So I can't tell y'all who you can't date this race, this and that, because baby, if some look good to me, I'm dating. If they look good, if the conversation right, I don't discriminate. And they got, they got whatever it is they got. Thank you, Backshot Delivery. That name takes me out. My bestie was just in South Korea not too long ago, and she told me these things about Asia, sneezing and coughing without covering their nose and or mouth as well. I can't, y'all. And y'all know Black Americans, we real funny about that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to food. Like, we don't play that. All that up in your nose, like. Thank you so much. Get over here, 95, for the donation. The closest country women in Southeast Asia mimic Thailand is Philippines, but Thailand is another beast. As for those nose picking, it's normal. Oh, it's terrible. Nose picking and slurping at the table, slurping on them damn noodles.
Preference for white men, even if those white men are overweight in comparison to a fit Black men of equal or even greater status.
I like the bobo. I think I prefer white men.
Similarly, Indian and Arab men in Black Africa tend.
Trust me, if African women preferred white men, all of Africa's population would look like Namibia. Namibia has a large amount of mixed people. If you go to East and West Africa, the majority, there's no super large mixed population. So again, like I always say, when you hear African women say they prefer white men, they're talking about getting their land back. They're not talking about it's not like Mejola Raza in South America. They just want to get that money. That's all that's about.
I've never really seen African women as having a mentality of they want to whiten the skin of their children. Not in the same way that a lot of these Afro-Latinos have going on over here, or Latin Americans. I've never seen African women. Most African women, most of the time, they do want a dark-skinned man or African man that got some money. It really comes down to money. A lot of these women are like, okay, well, what is the best way out of my situation, or where I don't have to struggle? So they'll get a Black man, but I don't think it's because a white man, but I don't think it's because at a fundamental level, they're more attracted to the white man than the Black man. I feel like if they could have the Black man that they wanted, and he would act right and provide the way that they wanted him to, then they would much rather prefer to be like that. Same thing with a lot of these women who call themselves divesting. Here's the thing. I don't have no problem with Black women dating outside their race, because I be dating, again, I be dating who I want to date. But I wouldn't call myself a divester. And the reason why I say that is because I date people for personality and character and what they got going on. Naturally, when you raise your standard to that level, a whole bunch of people gonna fall off. So once that's the standard, you don't have to care about or focus on race. You care more about, are these men meeting certain standards character-wise, right? And I never understood the divestment movement, because they claim to be divested, but they always talking about Black men or what Black men are doing with other races of women. And I'm like, well, if y'all don't care no more, then why y'all talking about them? You should be off with the man that you like, that's, white or Latino or Asian or whatever the hell case may be. But I don't think at a fundamental level, African women prefer white men. I've never gotten that from them.
attract more attention from black women than black men of similar or higher status. This raises questions about racial biases, suggesting that East Asians and Indians may not necessarily be racist, given that black women in Africa often prefer white partners. The cultural perception in Africa seems to be that lighter skin is viewed as more attractive to black women. The lighter your skin, even in Africa, the more attractive black people in Africa find you. Is there something fundamentally wrong with dark skin? Historically, behaviors such as dress.
I don't know, because I feel like if that's the case, I agree with Austin on that. Like, if that's the case, there are so many white men in Africa. Why don't they look like Latin America? Even in Black America, most Black American women don't want to date outside of their race at all. A lot of them won't even get a light-skinned brothers to play. A lot of them talk bad about light-skinned men and don't want to date them. I'm not saying all, but a good amount. Most Black women that I know prefer brown to dark-skinned Black men. That's just the reality. They don't fetishize light skin in the way a lot of the men do. Thank you, Archie. I appreciate this. This combo is not for me. Love my Latinas, but my heart will forever belong to the sisters. I heard that. I know that's right. I understand. That's why I say, Archie, would you ever go to Kenya or Ethiopia or somewhere over there in Africa and find a woman? Or do you specifically prefer African American women?
Provocatively, having multiple partners, being sexually promiscuous, and having children outside of marriage were stigmatized in many Black African countries during the 70s. In contrast, the percentage of single-parent household is notably low in countries like India at 5%, Korea 6.5%, and Japan 12%. In comparison, Botswana has a staggering 65%, South Africa 60%, Kenya 27%, and both the DR Congo and Zimbabwe around 25% each. These statistics suggest that the values and social expectations in Black African societies may be less stringent than those in white and East Asian cultures, because even in white countries, there are less single-parent households than in Africa. Consequently, there are many areas in which Black people may fall short of the expectations held by white and East Asians.
Also, a narrative that's pushed in our communities, and I've also heard this here in Colombia from the men. It ain't just African American men. I've heard this from Colombian men too, because the marriage rates aren't high here. And I've also heard this in the Caribbean. A lot of Caribbean men will say, "Oh, marriage is not for us. This is a white man's institution." But okay, maybe with this situation, the white man got it right. Let me explain. You have to judge whether or not an action is good by the fruit that it bears. Hear me out. So we always like to say, oh, white people have more money than us. They're able to accumulate more property than us, build more wealth. And we're not thinking about the fact that they value marriage more than us. And we're also not thinking about the fact that when Black people were getting married to each other, back in the day, before the 60s, when Black people had the highest marriage rates in the country, that Black people were better off economically in building things, even before they started desegregating. Black people were much better off. So it's like, if the white man is so wrong about marriage, then why aren't we having better outcomes than them? And we're choosing to do the opposite. So you can't say just because the white man is white that he's wrong. You have to judge things by the fruits of their labor. But instead, we be sitting up talking about, oh, that's a government contract. That's the boop-doo. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not trying to convince y'all to get married. I'm just speaking the reality that I've observed. I don't know if I belong in a marriage myself. So I'm not trying to shame you nor convince you. We're just having a conversation.
This leads to a growing reluctance among these groups to date black people. Skin color alone poses a significant barrier, but even if that were overlooked, other unmet expectations might still impede potential relationships. If you think we're wrong, if you think we missed anything, please leave them in the comment section.
I'm not gonna say that he's necessarily wrong about what I just think. I don't know. I mean, I've heard that there's a lot of single parent households in Kenya. Not necessarily, you won't see it when you get there because they hide it. I just think that in those parts of the world, here's what I think. I think that people prefer their own people. People prefer their own. If you go to Africa as a Black American, you will find that you get more play amongst local women than you would in Asia or Europe for obvious reasons. I mean, people prefer their own people. Like that's
Do y'all agree with that? People prefer their own people? Because I say this, like, even when I date men that are Latino, I prefer Latino men. They're like, for example, this might sound messed up to y'all. I would date a Colombian man, right? That might look like me, or he might be a little lighter with some curl in his hair. But I can't date a Peruvian man. I ain't date no indigenous man either. It's too far off. One problem that I had when I went to Peru, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see not one man in Peru that I found to be physically attractive. They all were far too indigenous or Chinese looking. And people might say, oh, that's wrong. That's racist for you to say that. No, it's not. I like people that look like me. I like me. I like a reflection of me. So even a white man looks more similar, in my opinion. A white American man is closer to me phenotypically than a Chinese man or an indigenous man. They be short. It's a whole different phenotype. They be little short people. Like it's not something I can control. I like people that look like me. The more you look like me, the more I like you. Yeah, what's wrong with getting with Apocalypto? I can't do it. And then I remember all them stories I heard. I learned in geography class of how they used to. Well, I was watching National Geographic, and they used to bind their man part together, and the purpose was that it wouldn't grow. Y'all, I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Because why would you do that? That don't make no sense.
what it all boils down. I truly believe that African women are not falling asleep saying that they want mixed race babies. Again, if that was the case, you would see a large, there's plenty.
Even Black African American women don't do that. There are very few African American women, my mother, who like just really wants to have mixed race kids. They go out of their way to do it. My mom was one of those. But part of the reason why is because her father was so mean that she didn't want anything to do with anybody. Her dad, y'all, my grandpa, y'all seen The Color Purple. Everybody seen The Color Purple. My grandfather was Mr. He was Mr. Yeah. Matter of fact, Mr. made my grandfather made Mr. look like a walk in the park. My granddaddy was Mr. Okay. I think it's a bigger thing for women. Us men are pretty flexible with our consideration. Yeah. No, that's true. And that's like across all areas. Like women, we are far more picky and particular about certain things. Men will deal with stuff just as long as it's good enough, you know? Yes, girl. So my mom was like, she didn't want to date anybody that reminded her in any way of her dad. But honestly and truly, I understand. My grandfather was something else, baby. He was something else. I understand why she felt the way she felt. I couldn't have imagined growing up with him.
Plenty of white folks. There's plenty of white folks for Kenyan women to mix with. There is no large mixed community in Kenya. The majority of Kenyans that you will meet are darker than me.
Let me tell you something. My mother, who was a dark, like really dark skinned Black woman, she was so traumatized by her dad, my grandfather, that she did not want me dating Black boys. I'm so for real. Like the first time she saw that I liked a little Black boy, you could tell, like, she just was not feeling it. She was not feeling it. She was like, they're gonna ruin your life. And I didn't I was so rebellious. I couldn't understand what place she was coming from. And I was the type, when I was a teenager, I dated, because I lived around Black and Mexican. So my first couple boyfriends were Mexicans. But then sometimes I would date a Black. I always just kind of go back and forth. Sometimes Black, sometimes I would date a Mexican. It just kind of depended on what stage in my life I was in. But my mom did not like me dating Black boys. And she's a dark-skinned Black woman, because she was so traumatized by her dad.
So we got a $5 super chat from Inspirational Truth. He says, just waking up, replay gang, cook, bro. Hit the like button, folks. Thank you. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, you're asking Indian women would they prefer African men. The majority are not going to prefer, because African men are not fucking Indian. It's really that life is really that simple. Like, if you're gonna ask,
Baby, who cares what Indian people prefer? They be marrying their cousins. That's not. I mean, it's true. They do. They be marrying their cousins. Who cares?
again, if Korean women preferred Black men, like, I'm just trying to understand why you would think that it wouldn't be what it already is. And if they do go outside of their race, which is Korean or Indian, the closest thing to them is not you, it's a white guy. Like, I'm pretty sure that a white man looks more similar to a Korean than you. Like, looking at this guy on the screen, looking at me, would you would you say that we're more related to, visually relatable to Korean than a guy from Britain? The guy from Britain, at least his skin tone is similar,
And the
like
hair
it.
too. Like,
This is
yeah,
very
yeah,
simple
it's
shit. Like, I
more
don't
similar.
understand how this even became a video. Okay, so local women in other countries prefer their own. Yes, that's pretty much the end of the discussion. Anyway, my job list will be in the first pinned comment. Let me know what you
Okay.
guys think. I'll
So
see you
we're
guys
gonna
in the
go
next
to
video.
another video of a content creator, a male content creator, talking about following. Now, before we get to that, I see there are 32 people in the live right now. Thank you. I appreciate y'all for being here. But can y'all hit the like button, please? Hit the like button, share, participate in the chat. And if you would like to support my channel, you can send a Cash App, or if not, just contribute to good conversation. A like, it will suffice. With that said, I want to also tell y'all, I have a workshop coming up on June 13th. For those of y'all who are interested in doing a long-term stay or relocating to Colombia. And one of my clients today actually hit me with not a Cash App, he hit me with a review. So he did the workshop that we had this past Saturday. And we had, I had my friend who is a Colombian American, but she lives in Colombia now, but she's a Colombian citizen. And she is a licensed therapist. Her name is Deandra Ortiz. She came in and she was my special guest, and she really was able to break down how to socially, emotionally, and culturally integrate into Colombia. So we had a very good workshop. I want to show y'all a testimonial for those of y'all who are considering coming to Colombia. I want to show you a testimonial from my client. Give me 1 minute. Signing up for my Colombia relocation workshop is a must if you want to plan your escape from the United States. Don't take it from me. Listen to David.
Hi, everyone. This is David from Blue Book Sponsored, and I recently attended a Colombian relocation seminar hosted by MariahSincere, and I just want to do a quick video because this is something I definitely recommend. It's one of those situations where it was under-promised and over-delivered.
Oh, y'all heard that? The man said it was under-promised and over-delivered. Okay.
By far. So whether you are well off into the process or this is something that you're just thinking about, trying to gather information, for either one of those people or somewhere in between, I definitely recommend this for anybody looking to possibly relocate to Colombia.
Well, there you have it. The proof is in the pudding, baby. I will be hosting another live workshop Saturday, June 13th. We are going to talk about visas, how you can do a long-term stay, healthcare, how to rent an apartment, cost of living, and we are going to give you all the resources that you need to socially and emotionally integrate into Colombian society. You're not going to want to miss this. Text relocate in the comments to sign up. Signing up. Okay, guys, so there you have it. So if you're interested, the link to my website is in the bio. I also do Spanish lessons for those of y'all who want to travel, but you're scared of the language, you want to travel through Latin America, or you want to come to Colombia, then register with my link in the bio to my website, MariahSincereTravels.com. Kim actually came. Thank you, Kim. Kim came to the workshop. Excellent workshop. Take it, y'all. You won't regret it. So much information. He is correct. Under promise and over deliver. Yeah. And I told them the workshop was going to be an hour and 30 minutes, but it was more like 2 hours and 15 minutes because I mean, we do a Q&A. We go over so much information. I send you a list of resources that you can actually utilize after. So again, we're having another one, Jeremiah. So if you want to come to the next one, you can register June 13th. I try to do them at, once a month or, every few weeks or so. So yeah, my website, Mariah Sincere Travels, you can register. It's open for registration today. The next one will be at 11 o'clock, Saturday, June 13th. Okay. Now, we are going to pivot to another channel. Give me a moment. Okay. So, I'm going to go to this creator's channel. His name is Dorian Create, and he says Bali sucks for digital nomads. He made this video 3 days ago.
So, I've been in Bali for about 3 weeks now, and I just wanted to give my honest opinion on it because Bali just sounded like the ultimate digital nomad location. Everyone talks about how awesome Bali is, how great Bali is. It's the best place to hustle and grind, and it's super cheap, and it's paradise, and it's just perfect. If you follow any indie hackers, if you follow any startup builders and
real quick, guys, the reason why I'm covering this today and I'm playing this video is because Indonesia just passed the law that if you are a content creator and you come into their country under a tourist visa and you do content, they will detain you and they will kick you out of the country. And they be watching. They've already started doing it. They are watching people's social media pages. So if they see that you're on a tourist visa and you're making content, even if you're not getting paid, which a lot of people aren't. Like, for example, a lot of people just have Instagram and they make content for Instagram. People don't pay you. Like, you don't get paid for your views on Instagram. It doesn't matter if you have like 600,000 people. What your Instagram can do once you build it up to a certain point is it gives you leverage because now you have an audience. So people will come to you to do sponsorships and brand deals. Or for example, because of my Instagram page, I just did a shoot for a paid shoot for an Airbnb in Colombia. Or I have people, I've done paid restaurant reviews. So people will reach out to you to promote their products, but I don't make any money from Instagram. And that's where I think I have like 42,000 followers on Instagram. And I built that in like 2 months, But a lot of people are doing content creation, especially if they're in the early stages of it and they're not getting paid at all. But Bali is saying it doesn't matter if you're getting paid or not. We're going to look at that as you are working remotely. So they're saying we have another visa that you can apply to come up under. They have a remote worker visa. The problem with this, though, for example, you have to prove that you have a certain amount of money coming in, not what you saved up. This has to be money that you're making off of your work. So what a lot of content creators do at first, until their content starts to pop, is that they actually live off of savings. They don't necessarily have a job where they're a W-2 job, y'all know. So what happens is it becomes very difficult for people who are doing remote work and making money or trying to build a name in content creation to get these type of visas, because they are not going to meet the standard for the proof of income. Now, if you've been traveling and you've been doing your YouTube channel and making money, you're going to have a much easier time. Wow, I never knew that would happen. I know the food review show just did content there in Bali. Yeah, everybody's talking about Bali right now. I don't see myself being a nomad in Asia, but to each its own. Me either. You know what? I would do it for the channel. I would do it for y'all. And I do want to go to Vietnam and Japan, but like to just be over there for like, I don't know. Y'all would really have to want me to do it, to be honest. Like it had to be audience requested. I plan on job stacking remote W-2 jobs when the time comes. Any thoughts? You should. Let me tell you something, Kelvin. When you are moving abroad, you want to have as many streams of income as you can, to the degree that you can handle it. Because it's one thing to be let go or out of a job when you're in the United States. It's another when it happens overseas. So me, I'm always, any opportunity I get to make some money, I'm jumping on it, right? If it's legit, then I'm jumping on it. Speaking of, for those of y'all who are interested in moving abroad and y'all want to know how you can get into the tech industry, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow, because I am now working with a tech staffing agency. And this agency, they get paid to bring qualified workers to work in these tech jobs. It's like tech jobs, tech sales, QA, that kind of stuff. Now, you are guaranteed, once you sign up, you are guaranteed an interview within your first week of signing up with the agency. For whatever reason, if you don't qualify because you don't have the skills, you don't have to have gone to college, but you do need the skill set and the experience, then this agency actually partners with a boot camp that has a curriculum. They sat down, I went through the curriculum. It's a pretty good curriculum. And you can go through the boot camp, and then when you're done with the boot camp, they'll send you back to the staffing agency so that you can secure a job. And if you don't like that job, then you can move to another one. And the good thing is that they partner with so many tech companies, and most of them are startups, so they need workers. And these jobs are starting at $150K and up. So if you're not in tech and you want to break into tech, this is a great option for those of y'all who want to travel remotely. But if you're already into tech, then go ahead and work with the staffing agency to get you a job. Well, big congrats. I'm proud of you linking up with tech. That's what's up. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the good thing about building your audience. Because, they came to me and they're like, hey, we need people, like we want to staff these companies, but we need qualified people, and we need, we're really, if you're not qualified, again, it's a resource for you to get into the boot camp. That's what's up. Tech is where it's at. Super remote friendly too. Exactly. So show up tomorrow to the live. One of the students who graduated from the course is actually going to come on here and do an interview. And we're going to talk about her experience, what she went through, and how her life has changed because of it. 150K USD. Yes, these jobs are paying good money. A lot of people are like, oh, don't get into tech because of AI. A lot of y'all don't understand AI can't do everything. There are certain things like, for example, cybersecurity is another one that AI can't do. AI can't do blue teaming and red teaming, and it can't do that. AI, as it is right now, it can only do certain, it can help you with certain things. But like, for example, AI can't build a security system right now. It just can't.
People who are entrepreneurs that kind of work alone and live the digital nomad lifestyle, you'll see that they often talk about Bali being so wonderful and amazing. And I can tell you that I don't feel that way. And I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Bangkok, I've been to Vietnam all recently. And all of those places have honestly been better than Bali. I kind of just want to tell you why. I'll start off with the airport experience. I will say that the airport experience at Bali was terrible. They get you to use their website to try to get your visa process before you go through the queue in order to pay for your visa on arrival and all that stuff. They get you there and they get you to scan a QR code and then that opens up the website, but they kind of fool you with paying a tariff that you don't really need to pay. That's like $10, no big deal. But there's a big sign like right when you get off the plane that says like, hey, scan this and pay this when you're visiting Bali. I didn't know about it and that was voluntary. I don't care. It was $10. I'm not worried about that. What I really didn't like was how bad their website was. And the process of trying to get that e-visa and typing everything in and then not being able to enter the address of my Airbnb. And then when I did, it didn't allow me to enter the other fields because they were disabled, and just trying to make the payment so I can get through the line quicker it was a terrible user experience. And at this point we had like an 8-hour flight. So we were tired. It was 8 o'clock at night and I just hated it. We finally got through that part by just walking up to the counter and paying, which seems like everybody else did too. I saw everyone on their phone trying to use the app, but everyone still ended up having to go and pay at the counter. So I don't even know why they have you use that app in the first place. And it would have been nice if they would have just not had me deal with that at all. But then you kind of get through security and you get through the immigration part, and then you have to kind of claim.
This is scary for me to go somewhere where there's an airport. So a lot of y'all are like, why don't you travel to Asia or certain places in Africa? I don't like going places where I don't speak the language. Like, it's one thing for me to have to deal with a different Spanish accent. Like, after a while, you get used to it and you understand what they're saying. It's another thing to go somewhere where I don't know the language at all. And then to be dealing with that kind of foolishness at the airport.
What you're walking in with, but they don't tell you that you need to go through the process even if you don't have anything to claim, because they need a QR code that's generated by the computer in order for them to scan it to let you walk out. And it was just kind of very inconvenient. And then once you're there, the service in the airport sucks, the Wi-Fi sucks, and if you're trying to order a Grab to get out of the airport, it's impossible. At least with my service provider, which is Google Fi, which had great service everywhere else, and it had really good service outside of the airport. It's like they have a lead blanket over the airport, or maybe they have a deal with the Grab drivers and the cab drivers there, but it was just terrible. And the amount of people in your face asking you if you want a ride when you're just trying to get a Grab, it's super aggressive, to the point where one guy followed me and asked me if I needed a ride 15 times until I told him to f off. And
this is why people think Americans are rude. It ain't necessarily because we're rude. We just not used to certain things. Like, for example, I was out in El Poblado today. And this grown man came up to me, just looked at me, and I guess he could tell because the way I was dressed or whatever that I was American. So he's gonna say, hablas español, sí? Ay, me regalas 30,000 pesos porque necesito comprar. Look, I don't care what you need to buy. Why are you as a grown man walking up to me asking me for some money? And like, he didn't look like he was homeless. He just looked like he was begging. Then I go and sit at a taqueria to eat. I'm eating. He go ask some people behind us for some money. Then he come up to me again asking me for some money while I'm trying to eat. We not used to that level of harassment. And that's why, and then I told him, like, when he came up to me again, it's like, bro, you just seen me. So I'm like, I know, like, get away from me. Like, and he tried to act like I was being rude, but sir, you literally just came to ask me for some money a couple of seconds ago. Now you asking me again. I don't like that. But now I look weird and mean and like an asshole. And that's what I'm saying. People in a lot of other countries, they will harass. And then when we be like, get away from me, now you look like, when I was in Cartagena, a lady came massaging me. I told her, I don't want a massage. Get away from me. You know, get away. She just kept on. So finally, I turned around and yelled at the woman. Now I look like an asshole. But if I would have let you keep going, you would have said I wanted it and you would have tried to scam me. But that's why people say we rude and we're this and we're that, because we don't go for none of that. You right, Jonas. Can't ask an American woman for money. We just, because we gonna look at you like, as a man, why are you doing that? Mariah, you a thick yellow bone. They knew you was American. But the women down here thick too. Not the massage, yes.
And that was so aggravating because I was ignoring people at this point because it was just in your face. Hey, you need a ride, you need a ride, you need a ride, you need a ride. And that just like left an immediate like bad taste in my mouth with that experience. And while this happened in other places, the level of aggressive haggling and trying to sell you on a ride, I hadn't experienced that anywhere else. And this is, Bali, paradise, super chill, surfer dude, fake yoga influencers and stuff. Super aggressive. Pissed me right off right when I got there. But whatever. That's enough about the airport. The traffic in Bali. The traffic in Bali is terrible, and it's due to the lack of infrastructure and public transit. I haven't seen a street bus anywhere. There is no metro. There is no way of getting around unless you're on a scooter or a grab car or you're driving, right? But the thing is that I got a family. Like, my wife and I aren't going to ride scooters with the kids on them. We're too American. The driving out here is like super aggressive, and I don't think we could handle being on a scooter with our kids on our lap. It's just, we're not going to do that. So everywhere we need to go, we need to catch a grab. So maybe this doesn't apply to everyone, because if you had a scooter, maybe you can get around. But I'll tell you this, we've driven to many different parts of the island. We've also stayed in other parts of the island, which I'll get to in a minute. So we've been around all of Bali. And I will say that even the scooters are stuck in traffic. Like, it gets so bad that it's just lined up, from the light to the end of the traffic. And there's scooters that can maneuver and cut traffic to get to the front, but they're still in traffic. Like, the traffic in Bali is terrible. Experienced it at 11 o'clock at night when we got out of the airport. I've experienced it in the morning. I've experienced it in the afternoon. It's just traffic all the time, no matter what you're doing. And the lack of infrastructure for public transit.
Backshot Delivery says, as an adult content creator, do you think I have issues living in Colombia? I heard it's popular there, but all the migration stuff has me nervous as a tourist expat. I don't think you have a problem as a content creator. There's plenty of people here making content. It matters what content you're making. So if I were you, Backshot Delivery, I would stay away from the content about the women. If you're going to talk about it in terms of like dating for romantic relationships, not P for P. Don't talk about that. Don't do it. Because, baby, they deported Chill Capo over Lex. This is how I break it down. Asia, it's a lot of Black folks that get bachelors and masters in Asia. Asia still don't F with us, and even if we learn their language, well, that's true. Hi, Chino made it. Morocco, Nigeria, and Ghana speak English at the airport. Moroccans also speak Spanish, Equatorial Guinea as well. I would say Ethiopia too, but they have a war going on. Oh, no, baby, no, I can't do that. The haggling do be real. Right, it do.
Transit makes it to where like there's not even a quick way to like catch a bus. It's like every road is a 2-lane road. We went to the southeast part of the island to go to a beach down there, and there was a bridge with a toll, and that was like the only road that didn't have traffic in the whole island so far that we've been to. And getting to and from different parts of the island is rough, and it takes you a while. So if you're here, you better have a scooter, and you better have like a way to get around that isn't a car, because it's going to be miserable. If you're walking, it's just as bad. Like there's barely any sidewalks. You're lucky if you get like a little sliver of a sidewalk to walk on. And
why should I want to go there? Why people keep trying to tell me to go there?
You're having cars zipping by you, scooters zipping by you. Again, like if I was single by myself, it wouldn't be.
You know what it is? It be them white folks that don't like to bathe. Like they bathe every 3 days maybe. And they growing out their armpit hair. And they going on a spiritual journey. You know, they want to feel like they out here really, you know, connecting with the people and living that life. They go to these places and promote it. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm too bougie for certain things. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, ma'am.
Be as bad. So maybe there's a little bit of like angry parent talk here, because it did feel like shit, man. It's really hard to get around Bali with all of, you know, this hecticness, especially when we have the kids. But even to just walk somewhere, like it's really tough. Everywhere else we went, like Thailand, like Bangkok, was actually very walkable, and traffic was hectic, but their roads can handle it, and they had good infrastructure. So we had public transit. And when we went to Da Nang in Vietnam, like the roads were nice. There was plenty of space. The sidewalks on the beach had plenty of room. There was boardwalks, and there was easy ways to get around. And you didn't feel like you were stuck in traffic, even though it was still super hectic. Didn't have to sit in traffic the way that we had to here in Bali. And that this is frustrating.
I can't do traffic. That's one reason why I left Texas. I was tired. I can't do it. My attitude too bad. And I get hot, and I get to like feeling like I'm gonna pass out in the car. And like even here in Colombia, I don't really go nowhere during the daytime. When the traffic is bad here, I don't leave. People be like, why don't you go out more to El Poblado? Why? Why? When everything I need is here in Envigado and I can walk to it. I had to go do a video shoot in El Poblado, and I came back during rush hour, and I felt so claustrophobic waiting in the traffic. And it's hot outside. I hate it. A lot of white folks love Asia though, so I'm not surprised that he's willing to thug it out. Huh, interesting. They denied Casey Redbeard entry into Colombia a couple of days ago. I was surprised Casey even came back, because Casey be talking so much mess about Colombia. I'm like, what is he coming back for then? Because the way he like let it loose on Colombia, you would have thought that he would never come back. And didn't he get put out the first time? Stop overeating late night, Mariah. Plus size. Beautiful plus size, Mariah. It's just some olives. It's not like I'm eating bread. Because this morning I had an avocado toast and a green juice. And for lunch, I had 2 tacos and watermelon juice. And this is my dinner. This coffee, olives, and a yogurt. Damn, he got put out and came back. He a wild one. It was a Russian dude they put out last month for being too noisy. And he got denied last week too. Because people kept calling the police on him because he was throwing these big parties. And they put him out. And he tried to come in on a bus through the border. Caught, put them right back out.
Frustrating. And also the walking, and while Vietnam had a bunch of scooters parked on the sidewalks, it still wasn't as bad as trying to walk around here in Bali, because at least we had sidewalks there, which we don't have here. And it's not really an island that's walkable unless you're like in certain sections of the island and you just stay there, which, like, when we're traveling, we don't really like to just stay in one spot. Like, I like to get around a little bit and do a few things here and there, and like go check out other areas, especially we're only here for a month. So we want to see what we can see while we're here. And it did feel like we were in Sonora for 2 weeks and we were kind of stuck in Sonora. We went to Nusa Penida, I think that's how you say it. And we checked out that island and we did a snorkeling trip down there. And then like dealing with getting out of the ferry station there was a mess. Like getting there was a mess. It was just too much traffic. Like it would have taken us almost as long to walk there as it did to sit in traffic to get there. It's just hard to explain how frustrating it is to be so close to something, but then having to like sit in traffic or having to walk an hour because you don't want to sit in traffic. And it's aggravating. But then when we were in Sonora, like it was chill, it was cool, but it really felt like if you were there for a couple days, you've seen it all. And that's kind of what all of Bali feels like to me. It feels like I wouldn't want to be here for more than a few weeks because it kind of gets pretty boring. Now we're in Shanghai.
That's how I felt about Lima, Peru. That's how I felt about Lima. Now, there are beautiful, honestly, I wish I would have spent more time in the historic center in Lima than on the at the beach in the Malacon, because there actually is a lot to see in Lima. It's just culturally, it don't feel like a lot is going on because they're so much calmer than like people here in Colombia, right? Yeah, it's like when I hear stories like this though, so a lot of people ask me, how many countries have you been to? That's the thing here in this travel space. A lot of people are in competition to go to the most countries. It's like you're not a legit traveler unless you can say, I've been to 30 countries, I've been to 40 countries. Like, unless you are like out here annually maxing out your passport book. And honestly and truly, I feel like that's not how I want to travel. I don't have it on my wish list to go to every single country. I doubt y'all ever see me in India. I don't want to go to countries where women don't have rights either. Like, it's a lot of countries in the Middle East that I wish I would go to. So it's a lot of countries that y'all would never see me in, nor do I have any desire to go. That don't make me any less of a traveler. But I think that a lot of people, y'all, my camera going out of focus. A lot of people go to places just because it's hot or it's the end thing or that's where everybody else is going. And they don't really consider, am I going to like this place? Is it going to match up with my personality? That's why, again, I'm very reluctant to go to certain Asian countries too, because Asians have a very quiet and reserved culture that's almost too quiet for me. And I like to see a little bit of ratchet. That's why when I was in Peru, I was so ready to get back to Colombia. Okay. Mariah, how many more kids would you like to have? Not one. A man got to come with his own kids. You have a good night too, girl. We'll talk tomorrow. I've been in Cartagena since April, and I like the pro-Blackness and African appreciation here. I'm almost attached to it at this point. I want to visit Medellin, Bogota, but I don't know. If you've already been to Cartagena, you like that pro-Blackness there, you're probably gonna you're probably gonna like Medellin and Bogota, but it's so different. It's so different. I've been to both Medellin and Cartagena, and it's like night and day. And I honestly understand why a lot of Black men choose to settle in Cartagena. And that's why when I do my workshops or I have my clients from my one-on-ones and they're Black men and they're really wanting to get into a real relationship, I tell them, you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice this Medellin weather because you're going to have your best chances of finding a woman that actually likes you for you in a genuine relationship, if you go somewhere like Cali or Cartagena or Santa Marta, somewhere on the coast, not Medellin.
We also checked out Ubud, which is fine, but we like to be near a beach, and it's okay. Like Monkey Forest was cool, and there was some stuff to do there, and it's a little bit of a change of scenery because it is different than the beach area, but it's just like, all right, jungle and some rice paddies and Monkey Forest and a temple, and then it's like, all right, well, saw that. And Canggu's cool, like it's more of a surfer vibe. It's a bigger beach than Sonora was, but it's not the paradise beach that you would expect, right? Because when you think Bali, you think like white sandy beaches. Canggu is actually like gray, dark sand. It's very much like almost California beaches, which is fine. They're surfing there. Like I get it. Like you go there for the surf and the vibe, but then it's like everything's super expensive. And this was everywhere we've been, except for the mall. The mall was actually like one of the cheaper places to get food. People tell you how cheap it is in Bali, but we've gone to the grocery store to buy some things for the Airbnb for us to have some food at the house. And we've been ordering Grab, and we've been going to restaurants. And it's been one of the most expensive places that we've been to compared to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. It's really pricey in Southeast Asia. Like it's still cheap because it's not America, but it's the most expensive place we've been to so far in Southeast Asia. And it doesn't feel as cheap as everyone makes it out to be, which was kind of disappointing because everybody markets Bali as like, oh, go down there, live for $200 a month. And, you know, that covers all your expenses and you can hack away at your.
Well, then you do have to understand too, when you're coming somewhere as a tourist versus you're going there to actually live. This is what I was talking about in my workshop, because I don't like to give people unrealistic expectations. When you're going to do a short-term stay, you're not gonna live as cheaply as somebody that is actually planting roots there. Number one, because you're either living in hotels or Airbnbs. And number two, you don't know how to shop. You go into the first place that you see or the most American supermarket that you can find, versus the locals know to go to local markets and they know where they can go buy food wholesale. So that's what I'm saying. You know, it's going to be more expensive to you as a tourist. You're going to be spending money like crazy. Cali is super black as well, right? Yeah, it is. Mariah, your thoughts on Club La Isla in Medellin compared to strip clubs in America? I never went to that. What I will say, y'all know, I used to dance in the United States. I don't need to go to a strip club in Latin America to know what goes down. Because guess what? I worked with these girls that were coming from these clubs. And they was down for whatever. I'll never forget some of the stuff I seen from these girls that came from these Latin American countries. It wasn't the Mexican girls, the Tejanas, or the Mexican girls that was brought over when they was like 2 or 3 years old. They had like standards, like they weren't just going for no anything. These girls that was coming from Cuba, Argentina, Colombia, because I used to work at the Spanish club when I was in the States. It was like a divide in the club between the American and Americanized girls and those girls, because y'all, I'll never forget, we was on the stage because we used to have like, there in this particular club I worked at, it was called Zona Rosa. It's not open no more, but it was down the street from Ecstasy in Dallas. It was a Latina club. They would have these times like every hour where everybody would have to come get on stage to kind of like, I don't know, get the crowd going. And I'll never forget, I looked over and I looked down. This Cuban girl was on the ground, and this customer had his face, mouth and all, in her cootie cat. And guess what? Not only was she letting him do it, she was pushing his head down into it. Y'all, I just could not believe what I was seeing. And this was when I was a baby dancer. I had to have only been in the club for like maybe a few months. And I look down and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And in this club, there was a lot of Cuban girls. And after they would leave out like of a private section or anything like that, you would just see they would leave the rubber, the condoms on the floor, everything like that. I guess at least they was using protection. That's what I'm saying. If the way I know these girls get down, they don't separate the two. Like an American dancer can be like, I'm just here to dance. These girls that's coming from these countries, they not leaving no money on the table. Or another thing that they would do too is they can't handle a slow night. So for example, me, a lot of people don't know this, but if you're a dancer, you have to pay money before you make money. And if you don't work during the weekday, you have to pay to work on the weekend because the club sees it as, oh, you only want to come work when it's popping. Cool, we finna find you, right? So sometimes I would pay $200 before I even made any money. I had to pay the club $200 to work. Plus, you got to think about it. Makeup, outfit, all that kind of stuff. So you could be coming off of anywhere between $200 and $400 on the weekend. Now, if I didn't make my money back, I was okay. I wasn't depressed, down, and defeated. I knew how to just take an L and leave and say, you know what? I'm just gonna come back tomorrow and try. Like, it's another day. It's a new day. No, these girls, they were not taking no L's. If it got towards the end of the night and they didn't make any money, they were gonna go do whatever they could to make sure they made some money. They did not know how to handle it. It's just a bad night. It was just a bad night, girl. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they had pimps or boyfriend pimps who were taking money from them too. Or they would have to pay certain, like let's say the cartels helped them get over here, but now they gotta pay all that back, Cuban women, definitely. Oh yeah, they was getting down. Yeah, Latin American women do go all out when it comes to these strip clubs. Yeah. And it was like it made it very like it made it very tense in the club at times because, for example, clubs have certain clubs have prices. So for example, if you're gonna give a lap dance, the club will all the time be like, most of the time they're gonna set a price. They're gonna say, hey, lap dances are $25 and you gotta give the club $5. But the Cuban girls would do stuff like, I'll do it for $10. I'll do it for $5. But then it was just weird. It's like, girl, you're not. But then what they would do is when they was giving it to them real cheap, they would sometimes rob the club, the men or stuff. They would set them up. That's another thing that made the club bad because men don't want to keep coming to a place where you scamming them and robbing them. So it's like all these girls were coming in, they would do stuff like they know the man got super duper drunk, like he's messed up. And they like, oh, do you want to dance? The man agreed to one dance, but they know they're preying on the men. They know that they're drunk and messed up. So then they'll take them to the back and just keep on dancing. The songs are rolling. First, it's one song, two songs, three songs. And the man just back there messed up. Then when she ready, by the time she get done, he owed $500, $1,000. And he's like, I only asked for one dance. And her argument was, well, you didn't stop me. But at the same time, she knew he was drunk. Like, it's on purpose. But guess what? The security in the Spanish club, they finna get that money up out of you. But they finna get it. And they finna get their percentage. I've been to Medellin and was in a hotel suite with the view of the mountains, free breakfast and dinner for $50 a night. I know that's right. If you are here for pay to play, those places are safer than Parquilleras. That's true. Might as well go there.
Apps, you can create your businesses and live in Bali and be a baller. Bullshit. That ain't happening. Bali is expensive. I don't know if you live like in the undesirable locations of Bali, maybe if you're like in the middle of the jungle or somewhere that's away from the beaches, away from the tourist destinations that have all the amenities, then what? You got to drive a scooter for an hour to get anywhere worth being at, or you have to sit in traffic in a Grab for an hour to get anywhere if you're going to live like that. So then what's the point? Because there's other cheaper places in Southeast Asia that we've seen that are like right on the beach. Like Da Nang was rad. Like I really liked Da Nang, but Bali isn't what it's been hyped up to be. The internet speeds, our first Airbnb had decent internet. Like I was getting 100 megabits download speed there, but the other places I've been to, they advertise high internet and it's not that great. And I think that comes back to like the infrastructure. Again, specific to the locations that I've stayed, maybe luck of the draw, even though the Airbnbs say they have good internet, then you go in and they do the old bait and switch, tell you that it's actually this fast, but it's really not. Whatever, my own problem, but this.
Anytime you're on an island, you just have to expect that you're gonna have issues with internet and power outages. So you gotta bring your Starlink. You just gotta expect that.
Has led me to the frustrations that I've had with Bali and why I feel this way. And I have not had so many problems with the internet speed in other places, even in Cambodia, where you hear Cambodia and you're like, oh, that's probably going to be rough. Like the internet speed in Cambodia in Siem Reap, where we stayed at that Airbnb, is faster than this super nice villa that we're in right now in Bali. And we're right by Canggu, which is a popular area. Again, luck of the draw, my bad luck, but it has left the bad taste.
I'm telling you, Jeremiah, it's because white people hype Bali up. I mean, that's gotta be it. Cause I never heard none of us colored folks sitting up talking about no dang Bali. Even now, I'm not interested. Then when I hear how they doing content creators, I'm like, it's too many other places to go. Y'all got a little bit too much dip on your shit. For people that don't collect trash. Another reason why I'm reluctant to go to Asian countries, I'm not even gonna hold you. They do not believe in freedom of speech. Like, they will lock you up for years upon years upon years. I gotta be able to speak freely. And I got a big mouth. Like, I'm a Gemini. Like, I can't do it.
Taste in my mouth for Bali. One more thing too, it's like, it's way dirtier than I expected. And everybody will tell you, of course, there's going to be some trash on the beach. It's Southeast Asia. We get it. Like that happens here. I was in Vietnam and the trash on the beach was minimal. I was in Cambodia, Siem Reap, and the trash on the roads and stuff was minimal. Like I was in Bangkok, and actually Bangkok was like super clean. Hardly saw any trash on like the road. I saw some, but like it wasn't that bad. But we were in Sonora by the ferry station and we were walking down the beach. The trash was so bad. And this is like the good season. We're not here during the rainy season. We're not here during the bad season when there's a lot more trash in the ocean. Like this is the good season. And Sonora had a bunch of trash in the water. Like we're swimming and there's garbage bags there. When we went to
I wouldn't have got in that water. Why did you get in that water? I can't do it, y'all. Yeah, they were definitely like that. Did y'all see what they did to what was his name? Johnny the Somali, the kick streamer. He got locked up. Look, I'm gonna look that case up. I'm pull it up. He got locked up because he was caught himself on the internet talking bad about the government there, and now he got to go do that time. All because he was trying to get likes, stream, and views.
But we went to the beach that was south, but like there was quite a bit of trash there too. Canggu has been okay. There hasn't been that much trash in the water, but there's a bunch of trash outside of the water. And like I said, Da Nang in Vietnam, it wasn't that bad. And I get that there's going to be trash. It's Southeast Asia. I get that. But Bali is just way, way, way dirtier than what I expected when so many people call this paradise. And I think that it's that Instagram versus reality where people post a perfect picture and, you know, like right now I have my desk and this all looks good in this area and then it's a mess right here. And I think that that's what some of the influencers do with their Bali pictures and when they talk about Bali. But another thing that I notice about Bali, I don't know, I might sound like a jerk, but it feels like there are so many posers and like wannabe influencers. And as I'm making a video with a following of 260,000 people on my YouTube channel, I'm talking shit about influencers, but I do not.
Y'all know what makes me so upset about the expat community? I can understand you not liking somebody's content, but like a lot of us be out here making content, just like he making content, and people be making content hating on other people for making content. Like, oh my God, these wannabe influencers. Well, what are you? Because you're on a camera too. You're on a camera too. And some people are not trying to influence. I don't consider myself an influencer. I don't. I make content. I document my experiences. I connect with people. I build community. I help people do this, but I'm not trying to influence you to do nothing you don't like. I don't know. I just feel when I think influencer, I think people who are like selling clothes and trying to get you to buy things for your house. And I mean, to me, that just falls under a different category. But I've noticed this about a lot of expats or Americans that live abroad. They will do content creation and hate other people that do content creation. And again, it's okay to say you don't like somebody's content, but like people at the end of the day, people want to see what the hell we got going on. Why would you not make the content or monetize it if you could? But what I don't like is when people get on here and lie about the lifestyle. That's what I don't like. When people try to make it seem like something that it's not. But like people will, y'all, my biggest hater, Homie Hub is probably my biggest haters. But like outside of him, my biggest haters are other Americans that live in Colombia. They be more mad about me making content in Colombia than they be at like most Colombians don't even care that like they like it or they think that's cool. And part of the reason is just pure jealousy. Like, for example, to them in their mind, because they're just now seeing me, even though I've been here since 2024, and their mind is there. This is the narrative that they have running in the expat group. They be talking shit about me, like they be talking shit about me in the groups, and they be like, "Oh, she just got here 2 years ago, and 2 months ago, and she thinks she's an expert." And it's like, hey, I never claimed to be an expert. I'm just sharing what I know and my opinions. I don't have it in my bio, none of that. I've never claimed that. And B, I've been here for 2 years and I've been putting in the work. You're just now seeing it because of how the algorithm works. But what it is they get jealous when they've been trying to do the same thing and nobody's paying attention to them. It's just the reality. It's just the reality. So to them, it looks like I blew up overnight, especially on Instagram where I have my biggest following. But no, it took me a while to figure this out. Mariah, why you choose DR? I want to go see Dominican Man. No, I'm just playing. I'm just going to DR to visit, but I think it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna go be around like some black folks. Like Dominicans cook hella good. Like, how much do we need monthly to live comfortably in Colombia? Single person, rent included, because rent is not cheap, especially if you're gonna be you're gonna start off on Airbnb. 2,500. To be comfortable, 2,500. 3,000 and you doing it big. Hey, Process the Journey. The traffic is horrible in Bali. When I went several years ago, I was in a taxi coming from a beach activity and it took almost 2 hours to go 5 miles. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, I would never go to Bali. Okay, trash on the beach, swimming with trash bags in the water. And then on top of that, traffic, I'm never going. I have no desire to go. There's no amount of convincing anybody's going to do. Like, nothing nobody can do to make me go there. That traffic sealed the deal. You influencing me to move to Colombia right now. Well, come on, Rob. Come to the workshop on Saturday. I still got some spots available. Well, it's Saturday, June 13th. For those of y'all who want to come to Colombia, I'm having a workshop. And it's a good workshop too. With that said, hold on. What's this? Who is this? Oh, Maurice, tomorrow. Okay, I was looking at, I do Spanish classes, y'all. So one of my students booked a class, a Spanish class. And I got him from my workshop. Anyway, no, I think Colombia is an amazing place to come to. I mean, if I had to choose between Colombia and Bali, it's definitely gonna be Colombia every time. If I had to choose between okay, so as far as South America, not in general, like not my total travels, but like in South America, I've been to Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. And I would choose Colombia every time over those Peru and Ecuador for sure. But I will say Ecuador is a great option. It's a great option. Is there a fee to join your workshop? Yeah, it is. It's only $27. $27. We give you about 2 hours of information, resources. Like, it's worth that $27. I promise you. Everybody that takes the workshop says it. I even had a guy on camera say it. So it's not, we're not hitting you over the head. The link is in the bio. Okay, let me go over here. Let's review Johnny Somali's case. I'm telling y'all, be careful when y'all are going to these Asian countries. You cannot get on the internet talking how we talk about our government, about their government. You understand? You can't do that.
This is Johnny Somali's life in Korean prison. Live streamer Johnny Somali was sentenced to 6 months in a South Korean prison. This was for various public order violations, as he trolled people and businesses all over Korea for content. His life in Korean prison will be harsh. He will be sleeping on the floor in a shared cell. He will be in a special cell with other non-Koreans, sharing with around 5 to 7 other inmates. Beds are not provided, so inmates will sleep on the floor.
Y'all, they sleeping on the floor. Did y'all see that? Let me go back. They don't have a bed. No wonder why, look, in Colombia, they call American prison 5-star prison. Like, they say American prison is like a 5-star hotel. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Inside, he is not allowed any personal items. He can receive some letters and books, but they have to be screened in advance. Korean prisons are very overcrowded. Johnny Somali only eats halal food, and access to this in Korean prison is very limited. With good behavior, he may be allowed some family phone calls, but these are all—
He looks slow. He looked real slow. We know he's slow because he was over there in them people country acting a fool.
Screened and closely monitored. He will also have no phone and no TV. He also likely won't receive—
Is Johnny Somali and the Homies Hub cousins? Because they both got that same lower lip thing going on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They both got that same like undone, you know, like they wasn't fully formed in the womb look going on.
any family visits. As his family live far away in the USA, every hour of his life will be controlled, with regimented movements, wake up and sleep times. Because he famously disrespected Korea, many inmates won't like him, making him a target for hostility, mockery, or isolation. After he served his 6 months in prison, he will be immediately deported back to the USA, and will never be allowed to return to South Korea again. It's safe to say his life behind bars will be very different to his life on the outside, and it will also be a warning for other influencers going to Korea to cause trouble.
Baby, if standing on business was a country, because see, Colombia, they don't really like to send you to Colombia jail. They want to deport you. Like, they want to just deport you. They don't want to spend the resources. South Korea was like, oh, baby, we got the money. We gonna spend it. Hell, you don't get no bed anyway, so we not spending that much money. They like, nah, baby, you gonna do this time before you go to the United States. Yeah, they made an example out of him. And I forgot, I saw a video, he was going off. Like, he was talking so bad about the government in South Korea. And that's what really, hold on, let me see. I don't want to play something that's irrelevant because it's already late. Maybe we'll talk about this not tomorrow, but another day. Guys, okay. Let me get to the comments and then I'm going to get out of here. Let me get to the comments. The Eastern Hemisphere never really interests me too much. history over there. That's what I say. Like some places, they'll interest me to go visit. Like I would love to go to Vietnam. I'd love to go to Japan, maybe China. But I ain't never had no desire to go to Thailand. Why would I have a desire to go to Thailand with Vietnam next door and they got better food? So I don't know. It just depends. But to stay, no. I like to be around the riffraff of Westerners. You know, they're too conservative to me over there in the East. Dang, my little brother was stationed in South Korea. They ain't doing no playing out here at all. You know that? No, you know they kinfolk, Jeremiah. You can't show up to nobody else's house violating. That's what it was. Chill on my son, homies. You know he funny looking. You know I ain't told no lies. I don't feel sorry for him either. Mariah, you better stop speaking about our passport road captain. That's your captain. Travel lover, you can do better. It's other men out here. When I tell y'all, no, real talk. The lifestyle that the homies hub is showing, like he be calling me grifter sincere. He's the real grifter. Cause like first of all, he be paying these hoes to go on camera. No decent Colombian woman is going on camera. Right? Like he not really out here living good. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Because he be trying to make it seem like I'm racist. Majority of my friends here are Black men. And I wouldn't call them passport bros because they're not on here on goofy shit. My male friends down here have jobs in tech. They have jobs in tech startups. They have jobs in digital market. Like they're making real money and they don't behave like him. They get women. Let's be very clear. They get women. They're not all on camera with it because they've been getting women. Do y'all understand? They got women in the States. They got women over here, but guess what? They're focused on their money. They're focused on their bread. So it's like there are so many other. That's why y'all have to come down here and stay and actually network with people. There are so many Black men down here that are really doing it big. And it's like, that's y'all. That's who y'all saying is y'all leader. And it's like, he's so lame. These dudes wouldn't even hang out with him down here. Like none of the dudes that I be around with would hang out with the homies. They don't even know who this nigga. Like the only one that knows who he is my homeboy Kari. And that's because he started a beef with Kari because he got mad at Kari because me and Kari are friends. And he got mad at Kari because Kari said he don't do pay for play. Kari don't do pay for play. Kari done been married down here. He be having girlfriends down here. He don't do pay for play. So how you gonna get mad at another man for just because he don't buy coochie? And you got to. Do the workshop over investment options and best places to purchase Airbnb. I'm gonna have to have Kari HQ come on here and talk to y'all about the buying property. I'm gonna have to have him come on. We've been said we're gonna collab. They do look like kin folks though, for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the homies hub even African American? Is he African American? He don't look African American. And nothing is wrong with my Black people from overseas, but for somebody that's trying to convince my people that I don't like them and you don't even come from our culture, it like I'd be very surprised if he African American. He don't look African American. He looks Somali or something. Because you don't want to go to the East is why you should go. You would discover a lot of things that would change your opinion. I might, Ricky. You might be right about that. Because you don't want to go to, I read that. Real talk, that is that our homies hub is an educated graduate. I don't care where he graduated from. He could have got a degree from Harvard. I know he was retarded when he started speaking on me, the way he was speaking on me. Very intelligent in tech. How you know that? And most knowledgeable about and overseas in general. Travel lover. Are you trolling? Are you trolling? I'm trying to figure out if you're trolling. Are you trolling? Because again, if you're gonna watch somebody, again, if you're gonna say Homies Hub is most knowledgeable in Medellin, why not watch Kari? Kari actually has videos where he's out with the locals, doing stuff in the community, showing real life. He has videos when he had like Kari been here for 6 years. Kari actually owns property here in Medellin. That's what I'm saying. Kari out here owning stuff. So if you can't say somebody's the most knowledgeable and they don't even have the most roots planted here. It's other people in this YouTube space in Medellin that have way more roots planted. I can understand you saying like, okay, you like his perspective, but to say he's the most knowledgeable about Medellin, that would be inaccurate. And then my whole thing is, that's just not the case, Traveler. It's like it's so many other people you could name before him. Mariah, your friend Kari taught us about paper plate in his videos 4 to 6 years ago before Homie Hub ever went overseas. Teaching y'all about what's going on and promoting it are two different things. And promoting it are way two different things. All the girls that Homies Hub show y'all are working girls. We know the difference. They're all working girls. All of them. It ain't no regular chicks. He don't deal with no regular chicks. It's all working girls. Okay. Let me see what Asmin had to say. Oh, this is the video. I'm going to show y'all this video and then I'm going to be done.
Johnny Somali has had his prison sentence extended.
He got his prison sentence extended, y'all. When did he put this out? This video is from a month ago. I guess Johnny Somali got his prison sentence extended. What?
That's right. That's right. It's finally happened. L after L after L. Oh my God.
Has been wrong.
So obviously, yeah, Johnny Somali might have done one of the biggest mistakes in his entire case. Because like,
I don't know if you can you really say that? I mean, like, there's been so many mistakes.
Dude has been doing mistakes the whole way through, but this is probably his worst because as we know, he was sentenced to 6 months in prison with labor, but for some reason, he decided to appeal. Remember in my last stream, I was saying, oh, the prosecutor might appeal because, you know, the prosecutor's trying to extend a sentence. So that's why they would want to appeal. Why would he appeal? I don't know.
To try to get out.
I guess he was misinformed because from what I know, the average time for a new trial to start is about 5 months. So he's in prison for 6 months, remember? So by the time his trial is almost, or by the time the trial will be over, it's already done. By the time his prison time is almost finished, his trial is just getting started, his new trial. So that's going to go on for months. So I don't know what he's thinking there, but we have a whole lot of new information. So today I have...
I'm more of a thug than him, baby, because if I would have just got I didn't even go hold you. First of all, I wouldn't have been doing nothing dumb like that. But if it would have just been 6 months, I'm going to go and thug that out. I'm going to thug it out. Okay, I was a juvenile delinquent, y'all. 6 months, I'm going to thug that out and keep it pushing and be glad all I got was 6 months.
Gabe with me here today. And
then he got 6 months in the South Korean prison. Okay, granted, they don't have beds. But I'm sure nobody's going to be trying to go up and through his back door there, you know. Their culture a little bit more calm. Maybe he's not going to have to worry about that kind of stuff.
He's going to help me break down all the new information about this whole case.
67 IQ.
Welcome, Gabe.
I think it's
Thank you for joining the stream.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what is even going on? Okay, so I guess there's a few updates. So first you have like the official statement from the Victims Council.
Right.
that came out. Then you also have the appeal by Johnny, and then now the appeal by the prosecutor.
Yeah.
That's right. The prosecutor has also appealed. So what that means, this is a complete game changer. It means that April 15th was not the end. It's just the beginning of the end. And this prosecutor is going to go for something much closer to that 3-year recommendation at the beginning, because a reduction from 3 years to 6 months is manifestly unreasonable. It's ridiculous, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor has decided to appeal that. So this is a process by which they're going to try to get closer to that 3 years.
Wow.
Great.
So, okay. So obviously that's what the prosecutor's trying to do. And I guess, what do you think? So did Johnny appeal by himself, or did he use?
It probably used
an attorney
lawyer,
to do this?
right?
So what happens is, as soon as you're detained, they detain you for a week in a detention center. There are several in Seoul, and there are rumors, unconfirmed rumors, that he is at a place called Seoul Nambu Detention Center. And if you look on Kakao Map or Neighbor Map, you'll just see a bunch of trees that are photoshopped in to hide it. But on Google Map, you can find it. Seoul Nambu Detention Center. And so they keep you in this detention center for a week because they want to see if there's going to be an appeal. You have a week to appeal. And if there is an appeal, they keep you there for the entire appeal. And the detention centers are worse than prison, and they're worse than labor with prison with labor even. So he done played himself again.
Okay, wait. So so he's not even doing.
I wonder if he's ever going to leave Korea. I wonder, because he's the kind of person that will somehow get himself into even more trouble.
Actual prison time. He's just.
Hold on, let me address this. You said, honestly, the verbal connection with regular locals in Cartagena is way more fulfilling than when I was getting catcalled by the working girls out here. I don't know how dudes even want to do pay for play. Yeah, I mean, it's some dude, you know what it is, Chino? It's some dudes that they might not have the charisma to talk to other women. And it's and not just that, then you have another situation where you have some dudes, they might have a charisma, but they already know they just want to sleep with a woman. So it's why do we gotta go through all this? Why do I gotta pretend that I like you? Why I gotta love bomb you to get the goods? I'd rather just pay and you gone. So it's most men fall into either one or two of the categories. Either they don't have the charisma or the confidence to talk to women, so it's easier to pay, or they might have the charisma and the confidence. They just don't want to have to try to paint a picture for a woman that they know that they're not willing to fulfill. Which honestly, I can respect that. I can really respect that. You was a thug back in the day. I was. I changed my ways when I got grown because I decided I didn't want to be in prison with them dykes. I'm not built for that. Travel Lover says, Mariah, it is clearly showing that you are presenting to us you hate homie sub. I mean, hate is a strong word, but why would I like him? Why would I like somebody who has talked about me in a sexually derogatory way? Why would I like someone who has made it seem like I got to answer to him for me being here because I'm a woman with a kid? He done talked about my situation with my kid. He done brought up my situation with my baby dad. Why would I like this man? He done sat up here and threatened to expose me over stuff I already came on here and have been saying for years. The first time he ever talked about me, he was talking a cream pie. Then he sat up and did a poll and asked, do y'all think that he could smash me? Then he's so delusional as to have conversations with him. This how delusional this man are. Oh, women just be talking, but they don't care how men look. They're going to let them smash. And it's sir, you can't be talking about me. Because I ain't going to hold you. My exes be fine. I have a standard. I ain't letting no ugly nigga smash. Not that I don't care if you're funny. I don't care how it ain't happening. Especially not you. I don't even know what he wants to have a debate on. He just want to what this is what it is. He just want to talk to me because it's like, what is there to the what it like? For example, he did a show saying she's just mad. She don't want to come over here because she doesn't want to have to answer any real questions. Like, why are you here? And I'm like, sir, that's a hard. Like, why do you think that's a real or hard question? I get on here every day and tell people why I'm in Colombia. I get on TikTok. I have videos of why I came to Colombia on TikTok. I have videos on here. I have videos on Instagram. What do you mean I don't want to have? Why would that be a hard question? I came to Colombia because I wanted to come somewhere where I like the Spanish. I wanted to lower my expenses so I can homeschool my daughter. I did that. I didn't want to be somewhere where phenotypically my looks stood out too much. So that canceled out places like Mexico, Peru, Ecuador, Chile, or Colombia. Yeah, that either Colombia. Only places I could have went would have been Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Colombia, or where else? I can't go to Venezuela because they messed up right now. Panama, maybe. Colombia has really good, especially in Envigado, so many things, so many activities for kids to do. It's very family oriented. Like, I answered that question so many times, but because he only paints Medellin through the lens of pay for play or women, he doesn't see those as acceptable answers, which I don't understand. I don't understand. So it's like, I don't know. That's his main question. He keep on asking, why am I here? As if I ain't told his slow ass why I'm here. And I've told the world. So I don't know what he would want to debate me on. What is there to debate? What does he want to debate? Like, what do we disagree on? What real issues do we disagree on that he wants to debate me on? Does he want to come in my face and say I'm a racist because I said he looks like a baboon? He does. I don't think all Black men look like a baboon. He looks like one. Go on his video right now. He literally looks like he's the definition of what like him and baboon are like side by side. Like, if you was to go pull up an encyclopedia and look up baboon, his face gonna be right there. So how does that make me a racist? I didn't say all Black men look like baboons. I'm talking about him. But he wants to make this, what he wants to do is he wants to try to turn people that don't have anything to do with it against me. No, he's funny looking. I came on here and said nothing like that about nobody else. It's him. He look a mess. You know who else looks a mess? You know who else look like some type of primate? Casey Redbeard. He looked like he white skinned and he looked like he belonged somewhere in the jungles of Africa swinging in the tree. And he's a whole white man. He looked like a primate in the face to me. I don't care. It's not about skin color. He's been getting cooked all week. Who else cooked him? He always beefing with people. But him and Casey Redbeard look a mess in the face. They look like primates. It's given, I got a light-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson, got a dark-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson. That's what it's given. Both of them look like they belong swinging from the tree somewhere. I don't care who call it racist. It is what it is. Okay. All right, guys. I'm finna get off of here because now it's late and I'm just rambling, talking, chopping it up with y'all. But okay, y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, join the stream tomorrow night. I'm gonna come on here. I'm gonna be interviewing a woman who graduated from a tech career program, a tech career boot camp, changed her life, got a job in tech, and we are going to talk about that. Hold on. Mariah, do you know Rello, the #1 traveling YouTuber? I keep hearing his name, but honestly, I've never watched any of his videos. But all I know is when the men get into it with each other, y'all always bringing up Jay Rello. And I still don't even know what the man looked like. But I've heard him on several channels. I've heard him on Travel Time with Paul. I've heard Austin bring up his name. I've heard it so many times. J Rello this, J Rello. I just don't know who he is. All right, with that said, y'all have a good night.